Good morning, La La Land. I'm Dr. Aaron.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jessamine Moyer. It's going to be a good morning, Wednesday, December 20th.
Wow.
Right? So we have a great show in store for you. Not only is it birthday day over
Yes.
here,
Hello.
and back of the house, Victoria, happy birthday.
My birthday buddy back there.
That's
All right.
right. Good morning, La La Land. Couldn't happen without you.
Right? We
Wow.
love you guys so much, and we're so excited to dive into that. We've got a great show around Wednesday wisdom and wealth wisdom. So today we're going to talk about everything like from our favorite books, of course, current events, because we always do that. And then we've got a great guest and all kinds of things to help you dive deeper into 5 days from now, Christmas.
Wow.
5 days,
Are you ready?
guys.
5 days.
You ready for Christmas? You ready?
I'm getting there. I'm getting
Hanukkah,
there.
if the case may be. Yeah.
You know, it's really interesting because coming up later in the show, we've got Munif Ali, and he's all about creating that mindset, whether it's getting ready for the holidays or really getting ready to start your day and build your career, your empire. He is the creator of Think Rupture magazine,
Wow.
you guys. This is a magazine for tech entrepreneurs and investors. He is really capitalizing on the disruption of Los Angeles. And by disruption, he's talking the creative ingenuity that is happening right now in this city.
Absolutely. Such a compelling story, too.
It really, really is. On the cover is First Class ClassPass founder. She is a hashtag boss babe.
I mean,
Yes.
Who hasn't gone on ClassPass? I mean, I was actually on there like a couple times over the last week, but I'm like, some of the classes are a little expensive in Los Angeles. Gotta say.
Yeah, it's amazing. When I moved here, I was getting like people saying, "Oh, come to this class and that class," like all over town. And I remember thinking, how the heck do these people afford going to all these classes?
Like they're like 26
Yeah.
bucks. These
Well,
classes, just
ClassPass,
45-minute
though.
class.
She's
ClassPass doesn't happen.
disrupting all of that
Yes.
right here with ClassPass. So I'm really excited to talk to Munif Ali later in the show.
All right.
Super cool.
Absolutely.
So 5 days, you guys.
Yeah.
5 days to Christmas. Are you ready?
I think I am. I'm not sure. I feel like I am. I haven't done any real shopping. Maybe
Are
selective.
you going to?
But I don't think so. I think we're mostly focusing on just experiential stuff. I think we talked about that a little bit
Same.
last week. But yeah, I just want to do keep it sort of simple. What about you? Did you do shopping?
We're like I said, like for the umpteenth time, no shopping, no presents. My son is flying in tomorrow, and we've got some really fun things planned. We're going to kind of pretend to be tourists in Los Angeles and get out and walk. One of my favorite things to do is walk around different areas. You know, there's so much things to do. You can pop into cafes, pop into whatever.
Yeah.
He's coming in from Utah, so he loves to just be around the city. We're going to maybe go up to Santa Barbara for one of the days and down to San Diego one of the days. And hopefully we're going to go out with my brother and his cousin. So I'm hoping like maybe actually hit a nightclub with my son because my son's 22. So I want to take it because the goal is to have him love LA so
Yes.
much. 'Cause he already loves LA, but it's like that extra push. One time he went out to what's it called? That one hot club down. I've never been there actually. It's in Santa Monica. You would know. It's at the
3110?
Fairmont. No,
No.
at the Fairmont. The starts with the
The
what I'm
bungalow?
talking- The bungalow.
Bungalow.
I've never
I have
been, but he
bungalow,
said,
yeah.
he goes, Mom, everyone's so good looking in this town, and like everyone's
Obviously.
up to something. I'm all, yeah. So I called him because I'm like, okay, cuz you got to take him out a lot more because I know they probably move here soon.
You're the coolest mom ever.
know
Coolest mom.
about that.
Wow. What
Yeah,
about you?
well, I'm not going out. If I don't have plans, maybe I'll join Aaron because that sounds a lot more
I
adventurous.
think you should come out with us.
Okay, all right, maybe we'll hit up One Oak or something. No, I'm really excited just because I decided to stay in LA this Christmas, and this is actually my first Christmas without my family. But it's a really great opportunity for me to connect with the community and with the friends who I have who have decided to stay here and to celebrate here and create new traditions. So we're looking forward to that and looking forward to the peace and quiet that is Christmas in LA. Everybody goes out of town.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
so
the
incredible.
apocalypse. It's
Yeah.
so peaceful here.
Drive anywhere you want, go anywhere you want.
Absolutely.
No traffic, don't
No
worry
traffic.
about parking. It's amazing.
Exactly. You gave this perfect analogy one time.
yeah.
It was like that
Oh,
movie.
Vanilla Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly like Vanilla Sky. That first scene where Tom Cruise is sort of walking in Times Square and there's no one
Yeah.
around. And he's kind of like,
Yeah, they're like, what are you going to do for Christmas? I'm just going to be driving around town.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
Like, I'm blare the music, turn down the windows, and like just feel what it feels like to drive in LA.
yes, to actually drive in LA, and
Right?
not park in LA, or try to park. Yeah,
So
I
park,
can
park on the highway.
actually use sport mode in my car and
Wow.
just go.
Yeah,
Right?
that's a mode that very rarely gets used in
Very
LA.
rarely, 'cause otherwise
Yeah.
it's just stop and go, stop and go, stop.
Yeah,
Yep.
so true.
So current events. What's going
Yeah.
on in Los Angeles for the next 5 days?
Mm.
You know, there's so many things. There's so many events. There's Cirque du Soleil. There's Beauty and the Beast. There's Clippers and Suns tonight. There's, you could name it. There's so many things going on in the city, but
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's just like pick your poison.
I'd really like to get to the Lakers game, honestly,
Really?
or Clippers game. Yeah. There's also Crypto Christmas tonight. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What does that mean?
So cryptocurrency. Okay, so like Bitcoin, altcoin. They're having like their own little Christmas.
What?
How do I
Yes.
get in that club?
Yeah. I think it's open to the public. Looks like it. Yeah, it's tonight.
I know every guy in this town is going to be there
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, totally. So I don't know if you got into the Bitcoin thing early, but if you did,
So
probably really have
I
reason to
friends
celebrate.
that literally are on the app like multiple times a day, and they're like, "This just cost me $2,000 to hang here from last or whatever," and then they're like, "Oh my God, you're like such a good, charm. I just made $10,000." Get over them. Just go to Vegas. Just get it over with, right?
I know, it's such, I know. Well, they feel like there's more consistency, or at least it's easier to predict, I suppose, but,
With the crypto and the Bitcoin thing, I can't wrap my head around that. I need a serious class on wealth and investment because that is beyond me.
Yeah,
Right.
that's usually why I just put it in the hands of someone else. The expert take care of it. Hopefully they're a good friend and they look out for you, but.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, tonight I'm really excited because I'm going to a screening. So LA, right?
Uh-huh.
I got invited by a friend of mine who's a publicist, and it's screening for Written on My Skin.
What?
That sounds interesting,
sounds very
right?
Trying to do
Interesting.
it 5 days before Christmas.
Well, there still are a few people in LA like ourselves. So I'll be there.
Some of us are workaholics more than others, so
True.
yes.
Yeah.
I
Right?
call it dedication, not addiction.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, I'm really excited for the next segment. We're going to be diving into some of our favorite books. I've always loved entrepreneurship. I love leadership. I love mindset around abundance and knowing our truth. As a doctor of divinity, with the sirens going by, this is a sign from the universe that we're right on track. That we really are, our birthright is abundance, and getting in the right mindset and fulfilling upon our dreams is really the highest serving that we can do in this lifetime, in my opinion.
I love that. You're absolutely right. We're just born, like literally, especially here in LA or in the States, we really are born into abundance. I mean, look around yourself. Even if you're
Right.
born in very challenging circumstances, still we live in a country, and particularly a city, that's just abundant with almost anything and everything you could possibly want.
Right.
It's a question of how do you tap into that.
Right?
Absolutely. And I'm so honored and grateful for that, but I still have such anxiety around that M word, money.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant
M-word.
marriage. I thought you meant marriage.
That too.
That's the Friday show, Ron. That's the Friday show.
Okay,
So,
good.
Fair enough.
So stay tuned. We're going to dive deep into the conversation about money. Let's do it. Why
let's
not?
do it.
Okay.
When we come back.
Stay tuned.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Odiva TV. And right now we're in the Focus TV studios in Hollywood.
Happy Wednesday, Empoweristas. It's Alex Worley.
Hey guys, I'm Amy Paffrath.
And I'm Justin Walter.
And this is What's Good, the show that's dedicated to positive, uplifting stories from all over the world.
Hi, this is Alyssa Goodman Show, and I am Alyssa Goodman.
You're watching Beige Bay TV. It's fitness expert and your Beige Bay, Edwina Chia.
Hey, Dr. Erin here, teaching universal law and spiritual truth.
Hey everyone, it's Michelle Gillette with Focus TV, and this is the Spotlight Series.
Hey LA, I'm Gwen Lane with the LA Girl.
Hey everybody, Terry here, host of the interview series Success Beyond Beauty.
Hi, I'm Fern Olivia, and welcome to Central Intelligence TV.
Hi, I'm Janica. I'm here with Focus TV for my segment of Fearless Females.
All right, welcome back. Today we're talking about, well, today is Wealth Wednesday,
Right.
actually, right? So we're talking about all things wealth and wisdom.
And abundance. And I love an abundance of coffee and donuts. I love Wednesday. Yeah, on Love Wednesday, we like to support and highlight local businesses that are contributing and making a difference. So I wanted to give a quick shout out to my local coffee and donut shop, Kettle Glaze. Coffee is fantastic, by the way, and they've been such a great support in the community.
Cheers to local
absolutely.
companies driving.
Love that.
Yeah, hashtag Wealth Wednesdays. So, Erin, what are we going to be talking about?
Okay, so I know it's 5 days before Christmas, but I do think there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of downtime. And some people want to read books, some people want to think about the new year, get planned ahead. So I think that it's still appropriate to talk about the M word, money, and entrepreneurship and leadership and all those things, making our dreams come true, because it takes money to make our dreams come true, right?
It certainly helps.
Yeah.
It certainly helps.
But even when you say that, I get anxious. I get nervous around money.
Yeah. What is it about the money?
I'm always afraid I'm not going to have enough, which I know is a very dangerous thing. So then I choose maybe not to be aware of my situation. Who likes to live on a budget, right? Hope it works. Right. I'm trying as an adult to learn how to manage that and change my mindset around it, but it's been very challenging.
Yeah, I can understand.
I think there's many layers. Like, obviously, there's the mindset that has to be dealt with subconsciously if people have decided that, you know, money's more powerful than them, or it's scary, or only greedy people get, you know, all the programming that we have from our parents, from the movies we've seen, from all the things, we have to deal with that. But I think it's also important to educate ourselves on straight up real finances. And so I think there's a balance of the inner and outer world. And so that's kind of what we're going to dive into right now, okay?
Love that.
So I know you have a favorite book, right?
I do. So in this adulting phase that I'm going through.
Temporary phase.
I'm almost over it. A good friend of mine and kind of mentor, my physical therapist, had recommended that I read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
The best. Let's just tell
the best.
That's an interesting cover.
Interesting. I ordered it on Amazon and I got the workbook version, which was interesting because then it really forced me to apply some things to my life.
Love that.
Oh, I love that. I've never seen it like that. The book does not normally look like that.
Yeah,
so if you look up Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, it's one of the best, getting clarity on the mindset behind abundance.
And it really encouraged me to, one, think about how much I have, then two, how am I going to get there? What does that look like? And create, to Rob's point about affirmations and things like that, something around that I repeat to myself every day. And what's even funnier is they give you like a timeline for this. I passed my timeline. It didn't happen. It was July 17th, 2017. It's now December 20th, 2017, and I'm still working on it.
Yeah, that's all of us,
interesting. There's another one, The Science of Getting Rich, which is another, it's the same kind of genre. So as a doctor of divinity, we direct energy upon mind. And so money is just another symbolism of what's going on in consciousness. Both Napoleon Hill's book and The Science of Getting Rich are probably two of the main books I would recommend for people that are dealing with mindset stuff around money, for sure.
And one of the things I loved most about this book was visualizing what am I going to do to create that abundance, to create that income. And funnily enough, what I came up with was that I'm going to invest wisely with my time, talent, and creativity. I'm going to tell my story.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Jasmine.
It doesn't seem very practical. My dad would say 9 to 5. No, I'm definitely thinking outside the box to Munif Ali's point. But that's how I decided I wanted to manifest that abundance in my life.
Wow, I love that, Jasmine.
What books have you liked?
Oh my gosh, we do not have enough time for that, right? I'm a book addict, obviously. So many books I've loved. I've loved both that Think and Grow Rich. I also love Think and Grow Rich with Peace of Mind, which is one he wrote later.
Maybe I need the follow-up version because I didn't need that peace of mind thing. That's still lacking for me.
Yeah. I love The Science of Getting Rich, of course. I've also loved a lot of Abraham Hicks's work. Love them.
Of course.
You know, I love, of course, I love the Positive Psychology Movement and so many books there, The How of Happiness. Oh gosh, there's so many books.
So many.
What about you?
I love all those for the mindset. And then I do have a few that I brought that are actually ones that are not so much about the mindset, they're really more practical. In, this is a classic one, The 4-Hour Work Week.
Who doesn't want that?
Tim Ferriss. And I mean, it's a great book. He was so far ahead of his time. because he was talking about getting virtual assistants around the world, how to do things like when you're overwhelmed with emails, having it be like putting an automation thing and saying I'm only taking them once a week, all kinds of practical skills to help you become more productive and more effective. Love this one. Love thinking outside the box. Talk about that for sure. I would say that one of the foundational books that I read in my 20s, and I did become a self-made millionaire by the time I was 30. This was one of the first books that changed my life, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And the reason why is because it is about buying assets versus liabilities. And it's also about having a job versus being basically an investor or a business owner.
Yeah, so it's a question of how to generate passive income.
Right.
So hand that one over here.
Do that right now.
I've got some time over Christmas.
The point is to make more and work less.
It's also called Cash Flow Quadrant, is another one of Dr. Kiyosaki's book, I believe is his name, correct?
Yep.
And Sharon Letcher, who is a friend of mine as well, she wrote that book with him. And we just want to give a shout out to Sharon. Love your work, everything you're doing. Empowerment, the feminism, which we know is so important right now. Third book is The One Thing. It's by Gary. This is not what it looks like. It actually had a cover on it. And look, I use it so much, I've got it tabbed up. So The One Thing is by Gary Keller, who started Keller Williams Real Estate. And this book is genius because he talks about how it's very metaphysical, really. It's about directing the mind and keeping on focus on one thing. So if you go to any leadership program, they will generally have one big goal that's a 10-year goal, and they track it back to a 5-year one goal, a 1-year one goal, quarterly one goal, monthly one goal, weekly one goal, daily one goal, hour one goal.
Wow. That's a lot of one goals.
Right?
Yes.
So his one thing was to write the book because he had done Keller Williams and he thought, okay, so I want to make it impact and give back what I've learned through the process. And so he realized his one thing was the book.
Wow,
right?
Love that. It reminds me of that expression or quote from A Course in Miracles where they say, we accomplish so little because of undisciplined minds. Right?
So powerful.
Yeah.
Erin, it seems like you had a mindset on abundance from a very young age.
I was very much like I made a decision, and it was actually because I was very much like Rich Dad Poor Dad. I had my dad's side of the family had money, and my mom had no money. We literally went to the thrift store for our clothes. And so I came from this mentality of, it was funny because like I just associated safety with money. And so for me, I realized that when I made that decision, it wasn't so much because I wanted material things, it was because I wanted love and I wanted safety.
What was that moment for you?
For me, I remember specifically, my sister, it was her birthday, and my mom was taking her and her friend ice skating. She couldn't afford to take anyone else. And I wanted to go so bad, and I was crying and bawling my eyes out. She said, I'm so sorry, I can't afford it. And I remember watching them drive off, and I remember thinking, when I grow up, I'm gonna have money. I don't care what it takes, I'm gonna have money.
Look,
and
30.
Yeah,
30 you were.
But just because you have money does not mean that you're fulfilled or it works. I had to then reprogram and go, okay, it's not just about, money's good because it gives you freedom, but if you're going about it for the wrong reasons, out of trying to fulfill something, it never will work out.
Yeah, it's so interesting. So part of what I do is work as a positive psychology expert, and the one thing that science says over and over again is that the happier you are to begin with, the more money you make on average over the course of your lifetime, right? So
I feel pretty happy.
Yeah.
But
Not really? Yeah. Then I would assume.
I don't see the millions, those zeros in my bank account just yet.
Over the course of a lifetime, right? So the happiness allows you to stay optimistic about your future. And if you can't stay optimistic, it's hard to persist.
I'm certainly optimistic.
Right, there you go. So
that
will allow you to
I have a question for you, Jessamine. Do you know what an asset versus a liability is?
So I'm going back to my high school economics class right now, and I couldn't tell you.
We all
the
stepped through that
difference.
class.
Okay, I'm glad, because I think most people don't. I think that's one of the foundational things about understanding and building wealth. And we want to know that wealth is not just about how much money you have or how many assets. Wealth is truly having relationships and good health and all the above.
And that's such a good point. I think that's a great place to start, at least it was for me, was recognizing the wealth I was steeped in already that I wasn't counting as wealth. So
Right.
just simple things like
So-
healthy body,
Yeah.
incredible family, fresh air to breathe. Like
Rob, was that an asset or a liability?
those are all assets, baby. All assets.
What's going on, but I love it. But so assets and liability, just to distinguish for people watching, assets are anything that is going up in value. For example, you know, depends on who says an asset, but real estate technically should go up in value. Stocks should go up in value. Things like this, things that, you know, grow in value versus liability are things that depreciate, like cars depreciate. I mean, maybe some classic cars go up, but clothing depreciates, right? So furniture depreciates. So what the wealthy people do basically is they buy assets, and the money that comes off, say, apartment rentals or things like that, then they have more money to spend on things that are liabilities. They don't buy liabilities.
Well, how do you break out of the spending your money on necessary liabilities, right? Your car, your clothes, to a position where you can afford to invest in assets?
That's the billion-dollar question, right? So some people say pay yourself first, you know, take it whatever. And I think it's about habits, as you're big of, like when you start early before, because let's face it, we get older, we get lifestyle. We like to have nice things. It's hard to give up the nice things. It's easier to start when you're young, when you're not like, you know, you haven't had all those expensive tastes. I think it's actually easier to have that from coming from a poor background than coming from a really extravagant background.
Yeah, I bet you we've got a guest that might have something to say about that.
So I'm a lot of preaching today, but this is like kind of like, I love this stuff.
Well, no, but it's coming from a woman who was a self-made millionaire at 30.
30. It's
That
incredible.
is certainly something to celebrate. And I want to know more. I'm sure that women in Los Angeles are saying, I want to do what she did.
Yeah. I mean,
How
$1
do I
million
put myself
isn't
in
much these days, you know, but
Oh,
coming
but
from
come
nothing,
on,
right?
that is something to seriously celebrate, and a lot of people would beg to differ.
Yeah.
That's a lot of asset that you could do something with.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a choice, first of all, and then it's a decision to know where you're spending your money. And we're here using our energy. Where are you spending your time? Who are you spending your time with?
Yeah.
And that's going to grow. That's a return on investment. When I'm spending time with friends that are bringing me up and collaborating and stuff, that's a return on investment. Education, return on investment. Assets and things, that's a return on investment. Where is it depreciating? What friends do you have that are depleting you, that as you spend more time with them, they're dragging you down,
Well,
right?
like I said, the Napoleon Hill book, it made me focus on invest wisely with my time, my talent, my creativity.
There you go.
Hashtag good morning.
Hashtag preaching of the morning, you know. So what else, you guys? What else is going on this wealth?
So much. You got plans tonight? Any other plans for you?
I'm going to be doing a lot of grocery shopping and kind of planning last minute things. So when my son comes tomorrow, we can just kind of have a little bit.
You have an incredible relationship with your son. Speaking of, you know, assets. I mean, you and your son, as long as I've known, and he's got the same mentality that you do. He's very entrepreneurial, right?
Very entrepreneurial. We have mastermind weekly Skype calls.
Mastermind weekly
really-
Skype calls.
it's
This is
kinda
why
sick,
you're a
I know.
self-made millionaire at
It's
30.
kind of sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's followed my lead, and it's kind of like I'm sad, like watching him. He's like a workaholic too, and I'm like, oh no, I did this too. But then I know the love of it too.
That's why she's taking him to the club.
Exactly. Blow off some steam at the club.
But in preparation for this episode, Erin sent us a quote that I found very inspiring and very powerful, and I'd like to take a second just to read it to you. It said, "To be rich is to have a rich life filled with abundant community, mindset, and ways of being. The extent to which you tap into the unlimited gold within the infinite innovation." Oh, no pressure, reading on air. Here comes my dyslexia. Within is the extent to which you will have a rich life. The meditative mind is your greatest asset.
Wow, the meditative mind.
What do you think about that, Ron?
I love it because for me, wealth is all about energy. It's about energy management, and it's about channeling and directing energy. And so for me, you know, it's been really more about the emotional journey and the inner sort of journey than it has been the action journey.
How so?
The best things in my life, the things that have added most to my wealth in my life, have unfolded organically and effortlessly and enjoyably, and they've come out of thin air. You know, my friendship with you, other things that have happened, like the book, my first book, TV shows, other relationships that I've had. They've money. I mean, spokesperson opportunities. They've all come when I was in a spot of being in this flow-like state where I was just extremely happy and grateful about what's happening in my life, and I was just having so much fun and so in the present moment and so confident and grateful. It's just like it rains down. I mean, things literally rain down. That's been my experience. And I used to fight that message the first time I heard, like, Aaron, someone like
you,
Aaron.
You are good at like kind of the art of the flow. I gotta say, you're like, you know what? If it's not gonna come easy, it's just not meant to be.
Yeah, I just don't think that life has to be painful and it has to be hard and it has to be unhappy. It's not been my experience.
All suffering.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I love torture.
I love torture.
Little S&M, huh? Yeah.
Well, it's
mindset.
interesting because Rob and I had dinner the other night, and he brought something to my attention in that there's 3 different types of people, right? So you're either the person who is ready for the opportunity and it's been given by somebody else. You're the person that's, you know, stirring your pot, an opportunity kind of taps you on the back.
Yeah.
And then there's the third person.
Yeah.
What's that?
Maybe just an unclear person, someone who's indecisive, that is not ready, and also not paying attention to the knock or the tap on their back. You know, they're not working hard, but they're not really focused in any way.
But there's also the creator, the person that can create and to manifest those opportunities.
Yeah.
So you're either ready for it, you're creating it yourself, or it comes around when you're not looking and you're so busy stirring that pot. And so I think just to the point of when you're actually in your flow, whatever that flow might be, whether it's be ready for that opportunity or be working on something so that when somebody taps, you're ready, or you have the power like Aaron to actually manifest it yourself.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's powerful. That's flow right there.
It's such a good point. I mean, I know that for me, and it's all about doing that which I feel most deeply called to do, and doing it from my most authentic space inside, and focusing on the energy and the emotion that I feel in that moment from it. Like that for me is where manifestation and things happen, when I'm just so locked and loaded, I'm so tapped in, tuned in, turned on, that I'm not worried about what's coming tomorrow or next week. That's when magic happens.
But what about the people who aren't tapped in, who aren't aware, who are...
Sucks to be them.
Yeah, no, but honestly, they're comfortable being uncomfortable. They're working their 9 to 5s. They're working 2 and 3 jobs to pay for their families.
Yeah.
How do they change that mindset so it can put them in a more positive light?
We've all been there.
We've definitely been there.
Oh, no question. I know you want to go for that one. I've got a couple thoughts, but
I mean, just want to first acknowledge, like, we've all been there.
No question.
It's not like I freaking worked my ass off in my 20s. Like, it's hard. There's not one successful person that I know that hasn't gone through freaking hard times or gone through bankruptcy or gone through whatever. I think it's just realizing that if someone could do it, you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you. There's no question about that. It's been my experience too. I mean, I've worked, of course, movie theaters. I've worked women's shoe department. I thought it would be cool and fun. It was not cool and fun. I worked.
Great place to pick up girls.
I thought so. Apparently not, though. You can't really pick up the customers. I've worked at like underground natural gas plants. I mean, just stuff.
I waited tables.
Yeah, I mean,
during my early 20s.
Yeah, and there's no shame in any of that. I know for me, it made me crystal clear about not wanting to do that kind of stuff. So I think in the beginning, at least for me, it was just allowing those experiences to inform me about what I most wanted to do with my life. That's the first place. Just get a little bit clearer about what you most want to do with your time and energy. And you might not be able to do it or make a change overnight, but the clearer you are, the more quickly it begins to happen for you.
And that pain and that suffering is what drives people. Like that's your true self bubbling up saying, this doesn't work for me. I'm not living my truth. So you have to, at some level, be thankful for that pain and suffering, for the guiding point of going, smack this girl in this right direction, right?
Yeah, it's so helpful. And it's just to get in touch with what it is that does make you feel tuned in, tapped in, turned on, you know, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Maybe some days it's just listening to music, or it's doing a little meditation, or it's reading, or it's going for a walk. But the more that you can do things that get you in that space, it's crazy because you might not be taking a whole lot of action, but really positive, tangible things start happening from that place. Somebody calls and says, hey, I thought about you, there's this opportunity, or, you know, it's very helpful to be in a positive space energetically. So you want to do whatever you can to get yourself in that place.
But Rob, do some of your really successful clients, the CEOs, the corporate bigwigs, are they facing that same problem too?
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
No question about it. No question about it.
That's a myth.
That's a great question.
That someone's going to get somewhere and not have any more problems, or, you know, any of those trials. There's got bigger things, right? Yeah, they just you know, sort of exchange or swap one list of problems for the other. Like, so those folks, they're, you know, overscheduled, they're stressed out, you know, they have trouble with executive presence, so they go to prepare a presentation, and they've done all the upfront work, but they've been so busy and their mind is so distracted, they get there and they can't remember anything they were supposed to say. Things like that. Yeah, right. You know, so no question. So I think we have to we've got to go into the third segment, you guys. This is such a great, incredible conversation about Wednesday Wisdom and Wealth Wednesday. I can't wait to keep doing this every Wednesday. So I hope you guys tune in more for these gems here. We'll try and pull some more stuff about LA, what's happening in leadership realm. But after the segment, you guys, we're going to go into the back studio with Munif Ali.
Munif Ali with
Yes.
Rapture when
We're
we come
excited.
back on Good Morning La La Land.
That's right. Stay tuned, you guys. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Good morning, La La Land. I'm so excited for Wednesday Wisdom because we have the extraordinaire Munif Ali. Beautiful name. I love
Thank
that.
you so much.
It's been a little challenging. I've had to say it a few times, but you can't forget it now.
With a little bit of practice.
So Munif is the publisher of the magazine Think Rupture, which I think is such a cool name as well.
Thank you so much.
What does
Where
that
did you come
mean?
up with the name? Yeah.
You know, first of all, it's trademarked. Just want to let you know that.
Trying to steal that. That's right.
We were looking for something that had to do with disruption in the tech world, in the business place, and you know, it's not just about making a mess, but it's really about logically creating change in the marketplace, in the universe, whatnot. And so we kind of bridged those two together and searched for a domain, and it was available, so we went for it.
Love that.
You said
Organized
something-
chaos.
yeah. You said something so interesting there because sometimes before it becomes organized, it gets real messy first.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's like my morning. Like my house. It's what it looks like right now.
I remember a mentor of mine years ago said that. They said, it's like cleaning out a cupboard. And first, when you clean it out, it's a disaster. You have to pull everything out of the cupboard and it's all in shambles. But then when you put it back in, you get to organize it. And it's like, clarity, bam.
Right, right. And so the whole purpose, gist of the magazine is finding people out there in society and in business and in technology that are really creating change in their marketplace. And so we showcase entrepreneurs that are really changing the way society thinks, acts, and interacts.
Interesting.
So fast.
That reminds me of, I'm not sure if I know his name. He's a huge fund, he's a fund guy, huge, like billion dollar funds. And he said the same thing, said, it's all about going against what everyone thinks is going to happen. Is that what you mean by?
Right. You know, sometimes, you know, if you think about any great innovation in society that's taking place, look at the smartphone, for example, it takes outside of the box thinking. You almost have to be delusional in a way, right?
Especially in Los Angeles.
Yes,
that is a theme of La La Land,
Right,
for sure.
Yeah. So, you know, creating change, you have to think of it differently from the status quo, what everybody else has been thinking about. And then you just have to create something that is going to be useful to society, that society yet may not even know they need, you know? And look at it. I mean, we're so ingrained to the smartphone now. I mean, I'm sure there are people out there that put it in a Ziploc bag and take it into the shower. I mean, we can't, we have separation anxiety with this thing now, right? But it took someone's thinking about the smartphone and having everything at our fingertips. I don't know about you guys, but I rarely open up my laptop. Now I'm constantly on my phone.
I love that. You know, you bring up a great point around creativity, and here in LA, I mean, this is a hub of creativity and people trying to access that creativity. For you, what allows you to get into that space where you're incredibly, creative, you come up with interesting ideas? Like, are there certain routines or rituals or things that you do that allow you to get into that creative space more easily?
Absolutely. I think that your power hour starts in the morning, and I'm sure you guys have all heard it. I mean, get up in the morning and you kind of surround yourself with what you want to do and accomplish, not just for that day, but for your year, for your 10-year goal or whatever. And I journal quite a lot. It's funny, last night I went to sleep thinking about a particular problem, and I woke up around 4 o'clock in the morning. That's the kind of time I wake up, 4 to 5, and I had the solution. And I don't know how it came to me, but it was just there because you're subconsciously working on it.
Man after my heart. Love your language.
So what do your mornings look like?
I'm very, very boring and very, very ritualistic. I mean, I get up, and the first time my feet hit the ground, I turn on the mattress and I put my feet down and I say affirmations to myself.
Wow.
At least 10 of them. I'm great. I am creative. I'm resourceful, all those kind of things to kind of bring the energy and mindset in. Because I find if I don't reaffirm that, my day kind of loses control and I kind of become happenstance oriented rather than by design. And so I start out with that, and then I meditate for a little bit, and I'm a strong believer that motion creates emotion. And so I start to move, I go for a walk, I put an audio book on or some YouTube. And we live at the greatest moment in history right now where there's so many different ways to learn. You've got YouTube, you've got audio books, you've got just regular book reading, and there's so many different ways to input everything into your mind. So I spend at least 45 minutes to an hour with myself.
Your hour is like most people's entire day.
He's like a walking, self-help guru. So I have a question for you then. So there's no question, I could tell. You've done a lot of reading the self-help. You're breathing the stuff. You're living the stuff. And you're, knowing the pattern interrupt. What do you think is going to be the pattern interrupt as far as a new innovation within the self-help industry?
I think that communities are developing. And let's face it, human beings aren't born and bred to live in a cave somewhere and look at their own paintings. We are essentially based on being around other people. That's just how society works. And so I think there's going to be a lot of community orientation and self-help.
Like Focus TV Network?
Like Focus TV Network, like groups.
How do you see that community evolving specifically in Los Angeles?
I think that Los Angeles is the perfect weather. We're very enriched lifestyle here with water. I think that water is a healing power to it, and so being by the coast definitely helps, or being by bodies of water. And what I really kind of see is a crowdsourcing self-help era start to form here, where people are coming together, and where it used to be somewhere where people would go and talk about their addictions or problems with a focus group, and everybody kind of talks about that. I think that the whole world is much smaller now. You're going to have the opportunity to connect with people that have same issues, same scars, same dilemma, and be able to coach one another to greatness.
And to put a positive spin on it, the people who are doing the same things you're doing and starting their own businesses and making creativity their business, and entrepreneurs, things like WeWork and shared office space, especially here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, absolutely. It's more of a synergistic growth than just one person by themselves. That's the number one thing I've learned as an entrepreneur. You might have one idea, but it takes an army to really push and manifest that idea.
I just love that.
Yeah.
So what I love about you is you're so clear, and we can feel the clarity that comes through. It's palpable. Were you always that clear? How did you get to this place where you are so clear? Was it always just, you woke up one day as a 3-year-old or 4-year-old and you had clarity?
I will tell you, poverty will make all things clear. And so the beginning part of my life was really a struggle. And I'm not saying that you have to go through struggle to define yourself, but everyone has struggle regardless of your socioeconomic situation. You can be born with a silver spoon in your mouth. your struggles are just different. And so in my own pathway to how I got clarity was that, you know, my mom was a single parent. My dad left when I was a very young, and she was illiterate. And, you know, she comes from the South Pacific. She was illiterate. She had no job skills, and she had a huge void to raise, you know, her boys. And I watched her as a young person, you know, 3 to 4 years old, being illiterate, housewife, going from middle income to not low, but no income. So we had to move into the project. So I watched my mom develop and evolve with clarity. And so she was working odd jobs, multiple jobs. You know, my mom was always working. She pulled together money, bought a home, and we moved out of the projects in less than 3 years. Now, if you've ever been in the projects, if you take a whole bunch of people who are distraught and have some kind of financial burden, you stick them all in one environment, that doesn't really produce the synergy that we're just talking about, right? And so she was able to move out of that environment, move us out of the environment. We were still in the same neighborhood in Hunters Point in San Francisco, which is a very rough neighborhood to grow up in. And I in the beginning part of my life, I saw the struggle, and I promised myself that I would never be impoverished, both with money or intellect or knowledge. And that has given me crystal clear view of what I want in my life.
Wednesday.
Right? Yeah. Was there an actual moment? Because I remember when I decided I was going to have wealth when I grew up. I remember the exact moment in my childhood. Was there a moment?
I have two. I remember a bus ride and it was very much in my formidable years, where my mom was working odd jobs and going to people's homes and cleaning. And I remember the bus ride home and my mom weeping and crying. And I said, you know, what's wrong? And I remember just being very young at the time and holding on to the seat as we drove what's called the Muni. It's the municipal, you know, bus system in San Francisco in the Bay Area. And my mom said, you know, I didn't get the amount of money that I was promised to clean this person's house. And she opens up the bag and shows me, and this is what I got paid for. And it was basically vegetables that were rotting. And she was really upset by that. And so to me, I was like, you know what? I never want to be at the mercy of what somebody else is going to give me. I rather make it and create it. And so my mom went on to be a multimillionaire real estate owner. And but that was very formidable for me to see that somebody else gets to control your future and your present. And so I wanted to change that. The other one was by age 30, I was worth multiple millions of dollars. I came to Los Angeles with $600, started investing in real estate. I was eating, sleeping, and drinking real estate. Real estate. It became my passion because that was the instrument that my mom had used to get out of poverty. And so I was hell-bent on real estate. And by 32 or so, I started to lose all of because I was over leveraged in this market. And when the crash happened,
we all know the story.
So I went from multimillionaire to driving an exotic car into the gas station, not having enough money to pay for gas. And so during that loss, I had to reinvent myself. It's one thing not having, but it's far more painful to have it in the losing. Absolutely.
So how did you change that?
I started to look at the habits that created the 30-year-old millionaire. And I found that I was far from the habits that created the 30-year-old millionaire because I became too comfortable in my own way. And I needed that, like having that Midas touch, never feeling defeated or any of those kind of things in my adult years until I got to that point. I needed a jolt. So I'm thankful that the universe gave me a shakeup.
Right.
I bet you were mad about it when it was happening now.
I was miserable.
2008 was a rough one.
I was miserable, but it really did take that journaling part. So I started to look at my habits and started to read journal. I started to wake up earlier. I started to really focus on what drives my passion. And in a few short months, and I actually have a program called Power Habits, and I teach it to every one of my companies and every employee that I have. about living a life by design, and that's with power. And so really creating and focusing in on your habits. And then, you know, from that point on, I've been on the road of going back to what my habits were every day.
You mentioned journaling, and that's something I definitely feel personally called to do.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what the heck I'm supposed to write. But seriously, I go to write and I think, what am I supposed to write about? What am I supposed to be journaling about to manifest this destiny?
I think the number one fear that we face, and we talked about community, being around other people, but it's essential to spend time in solitude. If you spend time in solitude, you'll be amazed with what your inner brain comes out with. So you can start to dabble, you can start to even draw, but talk about what you want in life. So often I think we're focused on what we don't want, that starts to become a reality rather than being focused on what you do want. And you start to write that.
What if you're unclear though of what that looks like?
By spending time with yourself in meditation, sitting there quietly, ask yourself, what is it? What is it that drives me? What is it that is going to empower me? What is it about me that I could do for other people that is going to cause me to have a grateful life? And just ask. Just like you guys, you know, have an art of interviewing people. But how often do you ask yourself the hard questions? And that's when the answers really come out.
So beautiful. And I don't want to skip over the powerful 2 times that you decided to, because what I found working with clients and stuff and working with subconscious mind is that people generally have decided at an early point in time that they're going to live an abundant life, or they've decided that they have a fear and they kind of live in scarcity. And so I just really wanted to showcase those stories for you because I think it's really important, because I truly believe that no matter whatever happens out here for you, no matter whatever happens with Disruptor, any of that I truly decided that I know that there's a decision that you've made for sure.
You have to do 2 things with that decision. You have to decide, and then you have to commit to it, right? Be laser focused on what you want. And it's not a whole ton of things. It's just being focused on that one thing that's going to drive you forward.
But how do you deal with the mindset if you're not at the place of having what you want yet?
If you don't have what you have yet, then you have to kind of look at your habits. You have to be willing to do things you haven't done before. So you have to completely change that. So
what did you have to do?
I had to reinvent myself. And that was out of the comfort zone. I had to go through poverty yet again. I mean, you know, with all gratefulness, obviously I still had the homes and all the material goods that I didn't have before, but I felt like I just wasn't in power, so I was impoverished again, and so I had to rebuild myself.
I love that. I got a question sort of around like visualization. Did you use visualization much? Because I know one of the challenges that a lot of folks have is, you know, they haven't had an experience of really incredible success, and so sometimes they'll imagine that success, and that sort of acts as fuel to sort of drive their dream or to sort of drive their desire. For you, was there a role that visualization played? Did you think about the things that you wanted to attain like on a consistent basis, or was it just sort of nose down, you know, head down and just working every day, networking?
You know, you'll find that there's an ebb and flow to every human being. I mean, not every single day do I hit that ground and I feel like saying some of those affirmations to myself. Sometimes I'm tired. Sometimes I'm withdrawn. Sometimes I just don't feel like it, but I drive myself to still do the activity. And in really focusing on visualization, that time that you spend alone from the outside world, rule number 1, never touch your phone until you've spent time with yourself, right?
Yes.
So I never look at my phone. And I sit there and I'm journaling, and a lot of the answers come. And think about it. If I asked you, you know, describe your car, or you know, describe your refrigerator, or describe some item in your home, the first thing that you get is an image, true? That's the first thing you get. So when I want to write down, you know, I want to see I want to leave a legacy of wealth for future generations to responsibly enjoy in harmony. One of my top 5 things that I write down on my journal nearly every day. I can visualize my children enjoying the wealth that I left behind
That's so
in
beautiful.
responsibility, right? So I can actually see them. Now, this is beyond any, any pie in the sky, I'm going to sit and meditate and it's just going to form around me. This really has to do with putting your mind in the right place to go and put the full effort.
Of course.
Yeah.
We actually have to kind of wrap up, and I'm
Sure.
really bummed because I could talk to you all day long for
So
sure.
many questions. Yeah.
But I love the idea of a think rupture of, I don't know what we call it when we all come together and we think of new ideas, and what's a think tank or whatever it's called.
Absolutely.
And I've been to them years and years ago, and I'm sure they're evolving. Do you guys hold those?
So we're having right here in Los Angeles, we're going to have Think Rupture think tanks. Now, as you mentioned
I
it,
love that.
it's
Like
going to
me,
be on
I'm like,
Meetup.
that is my jam. I like,
Right. It's going to be
honestly.
on Meetup, and we're going to bring together all type of entrepreneurs with great ideas, and then also get the funders behind this, the investors behind it. Because let's face it, you can have ideas, but you do need funding. And so we want Think Rupture to be really a change catalyst in the Silicon Beach area.
Awesome. I love that. So thank you so much for all your time. How can they find you? How can they find your social media? How can they find the magazine and all these events?
Well, one of the great things about having an exotic name, and I really didn't know, is the handles are really easy to find. So Munif Ali, you could find me on Instagram at Munif's Insta. You can find me on LinkedIn under Munif Ali. And certainly thinkrupture.com is our magazine. You can get a free subscription of it right away on Google Play and on the iStore.
Awesome.
On the Apple Store.
Awesome.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you so much. And I'm so looking forward to those events.
I'm really
Definitely.
grateful. Thank you guys so much for
Absolutely.
having me.
Good morning,
Thank
Lala.
you.
We'll be there.
Yeah, so stay tuned, you guys. We're going to do one little wrap up. So excited and knowing today's Wealth Wednesday or Wednesday Wisdom. So stay tuned as we come back for a little surprise. Welcome back, you guys. We had a great epic day, right?
Love.
Incredible Wealth Wednesday, Wednesday Wisdom. And so what we went over how to save money, not get into debt. That's a big topic.
Always a good idea.
Just the whole anxiety around money.
I know. Or money just sets you off, right?
It does.
Sets most of us off.
And I love all those books, honestly.
Oh, you know I'm a book addict.
They really have. I refer to them all the time.
Yeah.
Life changers.
Totally. My friends have broken up with me over books. Literally. They're like, you love your books more than you love me. I'm like, probably.
No, and then Munif, he's, a wealth of wisdom.
He really is. He just emanates this like clear, positive energy.
Yeah.
I want to soak it up. I'm so excited for that event. We've
Right?
got to go.
Oh,
I gotta go to that think tank for sure. So we have a little surprise. We have a couple birthdays in the house.
Who's got a birthday?
At Focus.
Who's got a birthday?
So,
So humble.
wondering if our lovely Victoria Simone from Focus TV, who is in the house, who has the exact same birthday as Rob Mac official.
Yeah, and she runs away.
So I just want to say that my life would not be complete without you, because you are literally one of my best friends. And I had no idea we were going to work together at some point in our life, but we've always been very supportive and, at all levels. And I just want to celebrate. I want to celebrate your
so
birth.
much. That's so
Thank
sweet.
you for being such a light in our life, such an epitome of what a man should be and can be. Rob. We really want to celebrate you.
Oh my gosh. We're going to celebrate this one. It was our birthday, right? And I thought you were running away.
No!
That's so awesome.
Happy birthday to
I can't sing, but we're going to try.
Okay. Happy birthday to you.
I think we have to
Help
sing.
me out.
Happy birthday
to us.
Happy birthday to Victoria.
Rob
Mac.
Happy birthday to you.
No, we have to blow at the same time.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Make a wish.
Yes.
Yay! Praise emoji.
Praise emoji.
Strawberry
That's so
shortcake.
awesome.
So we have Victoria, because she's not in front of the camera that much, which I want to bring her a lot more.
Oh my
in front of
gosh.
the camera.
She's an all-star.
This show could not happen without her.
Could not happen.
you.
No
So
show could happen
grateful.
without you.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank
We're
you
so grateful.
much. Thank you.
for
You guys
everything you
are
do.
amazing. It is such an honor to listen to you guys every day. Every morning, first thing, you guys are absolutely incredible. It's so amazing to hear what's going on in the LA community, because, I just moved from, if you guys don't know, I just moved from New York to LA.
And she's hot.
3 or 4 months ago.
If you haven't noticed.
What's your Instagram handle again?
It's
the
Lady Katana. Katana's from Mortal Kombat, if you guys don't know.
Wow.
She
You just made every guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Guys are obsessed.
Okay, so birthday wish, you can't share what it is, but
Okay.
what do you want to do differently this year, in this year of your life?
Can we just take a moment? Let's just take a moment and meditate on this.
Erin's sending her Dr. Divinity
There she
vibes right now. This year in your life, what do you want to manifest?
I think, 22 was a great year. Honestly, it was amazing. I learned so much, and I never thought I would be here, because this is the first time I'm moving, and I moved across country by
It's
myself.
a huge deal.
It's great.
Yeah. So I would just want to, I've really gotten to really enjoy just spending time with myself. And I think now I'm ready to just dive into what's next. And I don't know what that is, but I'm
It's a new year for
excited.
Yes.
What about you?
That's such a Sagittarius answer. I love it. That was
I don't,
true.
you know what's funny? I don't feel like a Sagittarius. Do you
Really?
feel like a Sagittarius? 'Cause
I
we're
do
like
a little bit.
We're Capricorn Sagittarius cups.
Yeah. I'm a freedom seeker.
Mhm.
Okay. And I love traveling, but mostly love traveling virtually, like through both.
Which is amazing because, guys, me and Rob,
Yeah.
we
That's
both
the other
have
weird thing.
American Airlines.
Flight privilege.
Yeah, we both fly American Airlines, and we both have
flight
Special
benefits.
flights, yeah.
Yeah, so we could go anywhere we want.
Yeah.
So-
It's a weird Sagittarius.
Maybe we should
kind
be
of thing.
friends with benefits. I mean, they are friends with benefits. They're not that kind of
No, so not being a freedom seeker. Where are you going to go this year?
I always love going to Miami. I'm just obsessed with Miami. I used to live there.
Look, we're going to kick you off. Good morning, La La Land, if you keep talking.
But I love Miami, and Miami and LA are perfect complements to each other.
I know.
You know? And please don't kick me off. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, but I've been in Miami for like 10 or 12 years. Yeah, so I'd love to do Miami. I mean, there's so many places I'd love to go. I want to go to Bali. We've talked about this a lot. You know, I love South America, so many places. But mostly for me, I want to spend more time this year just like being in the vortex. Like, so for me, that just means being in that place where you just feel incredible confidence and clarity, and you're open to letting whatever the universe has in store for you unfold organically.
Isn't that the Mortal Kombat, the name of Instagram name?
It's
Is that what that represents?
No, I'm just a huge fan of the franchise.
She's like, no, I'm just into that.
I'm trying to get
into
into
that
hair. It's not going so well.
But yeah, if you're also birthday buddies with Rob and Victoria today, December 20th is your birthday. We want to wish you a happy birthday and know what you're going to do different in Los Angeles to make this a special year for you.
Yeah. Well, it's been so much fun to do Good Morning La La Land with you guys, and I wish you the best. And whatever you're doing later, I know it's going to be perfect. I'm sure that there's birthdays where you have huge parties and birthdays where you're alone. And either way, we celebrate it knowing that it is unfolding
We're having a
perfectly.
huge party at
We're going.
Victoria's place. Yeah.
She's
like, I don't know where you're at, Rob.
I think we should go to Santa Monica.
That's fair enough.
Well, we're not going to party too hard because we are coming back tomorrow. This is Good Morning La La Land. We stream live to you Monday through Friday on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
Yeah. Happy birthday, you guys.
Happy
so
birthday.
Stay tuned tomorrow, you guys, for Thursday, which is Thought Thursday. So it's all about mindfulness, attitude, and we're going to shake it up and get you in the right mind, you guys. So stay tuned. And happy birthday, you guys.
Happy birthday. It's going to be a good morning.
Bye, guys.